to another night of PGL action. Tonight, lower bracket final. It is TSM and it is VP. Na'Vi snuck by 2-1 last night against TSM. We didn't really expect that on the desk. I admit my prediction was correct, but it was entirely random, so I'm not going to take credit for that.
It was a bit of hit and miss. I think we before the game started, we were talking about StarX filling for Na'Vi. We thought, okay, it's obviously going to be 2-0 in favor of TSM, but Flamey did arrive. And he arrived in with style as well as they took the series 2-1.
Specifically on the third map, overpass the decider. So that said, tonight there is another elimination match. One of these two teams, VP, who failed to qualify for last year's LAN in the same group, could be going home again, or TSM, the first team to qualify, and the winner, the defending champion of PGL, could also be heading home. Now, that said, they do still have the last chance qualifier. You were with us all evening last night as well. What do we expect to see this evening after seeing a little bit of VP and TSM over the last few days?
Well, I mean, the thing with VP right now is that you never know which VP really arrives to the occasion. Sometimes they play really well. It's like, especially when it comes down to tournaments like the Major, obviously you see them like find that extra 10% of the way they play. Hoping they can sort of invent a bit of that to how they play online as well, because I don't know, it's something weird that happens. Maybe it's focus. It's a matter of like people not being able to focus as much when you're playing from home or something, but it's like the different team at times when you're watching VP.
There definitely seems to be an inconsistency online, which is one of the things last year that we highlighted in this particular league. I think you were with us for part of that series, as was Karn, and obviously so was Toby Wan at the time, and we all kind of mentioned that VP has this sort of amazing potential in LAN situations. They rise to the occasion, but online can be inconsistent, and that's where they kind of struggle to get into these LANs at times.
Well, they've got their work cut out for them tonight. TSM looking, well, after last night, I thought they were going to take that series pretty hands down, to be honest, but the third map kind of eluded from them a bit. The overpass didn't really go in their favor. I think a lot of mistakes were made, but everything's reset tonight. They need to win this game to make sure they go through to tomorrow, and they still have Na'Vi to take down as well after that.
Absolutely. So we'll look at, obviously we've discussed the implications on this group. We'll look at the groups overall and the structure and how that works, just to clarify. So there is 3 groups. We've already gone through the qualifying phases, US, EU1, and EU2. Method, Kinguin, Dignitas, respectively qualifying in each. Mouse Sports, of course, obviously having I guess you could call it a last chance qualifier in that sense too, because Envious pulled out. They took down Dobry and Gaming for the last spot, as they were each the runner-up of the respective qualifiers. It now means that one from each of these groups will make it through. We'll find out very soon who in Group 1, as we're in the middle of that right now, and then the others afterward. And then there's a compilation of all the remaining European teams that were knocked out, put together into one giant group for a last chance qualifier, where this year, unlike last year, one team will qualify. Last year, 2 teams qualified from that last chance qualifier because there was no U.S. group. So there's even less teams going to make it through from Europe this time, which means even more upsets and heartbreak.
Upsets are always good, though. It makes things exciting. If the same thing happened every single tournament, you wouldn't want to watch anymore.
That's true. That is true. Which is, we could open a can of worms on the best-of-1 format then too, right?
Well, I think the best-of-1 makes things interesting. At least you have to turn up your A game every single match. You can't rely on your map pool to save you. You have to make sure you're ready to go in every single scenario. But here we go then. What are we looking at now?
Well, this is as we've seen the bracket for EU Group 1 qualifier or playout so far. So TSM 2-0'd Kinguin. Kinguin unfortunately not picking up a single map in their efforts. They went to the lower bracket where after Na'Vi beat Virtus.pro, they lost to Virtus.pro 2-0. And then it was TSM Na'Vi last night. We saw that matchup. We all kind of had the same.
That's when we had Forest and...
Right, that's true. So Kinguin on the first night played against TSM without Kerrigan. They actually had Freiburg. The next night they played, they were missing 2 of their own. And like you said, they brought in Forest and the coach, Legia, who first map was a little off, second map picked it up a little more. But overall, Kinguin now, they're gone from this group. Again, the last chance qualifier will be their last chance to qualify. Hence the name of the group.
It all makes sense.
It does. But again, so tonight we see a best of 5 in this lower bracket. TSM VP, I think this year in 2015 has been the best rivalry in CSGO, in my opinion. We haven't seen this quite as much as of late, but between sort of late February to end of May, those 2 teams, whenever they played, it was dead exciting, dead even. Tonight, are we going to see a similar thing?
I don't know, but with TSM... the way they played last night was very lackluster as well. The second map, Dust2, that's not something you're used to seeing from TSM. Usually you see a very dominant team on Dust2 when it comes to TSM. Overpass as well. It felt like they opted to go very aggressive a lot of the time in the first half, but it wasn't paying off at all compared to the investment they were making. Especially it felt like when Kerrigan was up there in the connector halls, things were not working out. But when they have Device playing up front, it was better. So I don't know.
We talked about Zipex as well, being like he's been stepping his game up, getting back in there, showing everyone he's not just a support player, but he was pretty quiet yesterday, I think, on Dust2. He was on 1 for 14. And although we did talk about them, if they started on the CT side, that's where they flourish, and that's where they can be the best team they can. Starting on the T side, I think they struggle a little bit more. So that's why I said Navi going CT first definitely worked in their favor.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that because initially, you go back before Kerrigan was brought into the team when it was still under the leadership of Fetish. It was CT-sided entirely. It came almost the opposite direction when they had their success. Their T-sides were really impressive, and now it's kind of slipping away again. So that's something they're going to have to focus on. I think not even, well, obviously this evening as well, but in general, if they want to get back to that sort of level, that highlight, that honeymoon period that they had.
Yeah, well, I definitely think this one's going to 5 maps. I don't see there's any other way of that not happening, but it's so hard to call. It's such on a knife edge. Like Natu said, like you don't know what kind of VP is going to turn up. Depending on the maps, could be interesting as well. But
and that's the point I want to make is that these two teams do play a lot of similar maps. The only one that VP plays that TSM won't is Cobblestone, and we've seen them make that the first ban each night. So that's probably going to go out. And we'll get to that in a minute. But let's take a look, of course, as we are in the Vulcan pre-show, at how we think this plays out. Now, the thing about Vulcan, and we're going to look at your team first, Henry, this evening is actually that you're picking for tonight's game and tomorrow night's game. So you have to predict in a way which team you think is going to move forward. So I'm going to go. I guess I'm going to ramble on just for a second to explain that. So if you can only pick 3 from each team, 8 total, and there's 3 teams playing, one team is going to play twice. Inevitably, you're going to want 3 players from that team. So the safe bet in doing that, rather than having 6 players play tomorrow night, have 6 players play tonight. So stack up VP and TSM. At least this is my opinion on it. And the reason I also stand by that is I think that VP TSM should be a longer series than what we see from Navi and whichever winner it's going to be.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? So we have to bear in mind that Navi are only going to play 1 game tomorrow. Potentially the other 2 teams could play 2 games. So I think you can have a look just based on my shot caller, Kerrigan, you can kind of tell who I think is going to win tonight.
And that's what I was going to say. The only aspect about making sure that you pick the correct team is you want your shot caller on the team that plays twice. So you still kind of have to predict this series.
But yeah, so let's take it from the top then. So we've got Neo and Taz. They've been my picks throughout this tournament. I think they've been both yesterday. Another example as why you have them on your team. Both pretty cheap investments as well. Neo being a lot more expensive today, but Taz been so consistent, always up there, making sure he gets 2 or 3 frags. He's one of the players I think had a stellar couple of months. Then moving down, we've got the TSM guys. So, like I said, I think they may have the edge tonight. So that's why I've got Kerrigan, Cajun Beat, Device. Device having a very strong game yesterday. Always, whenever he had the AWP, he was the reason they were winning rounds. He was getting the first pick. And although we talk about AWP players not being that essential on Vulcan, I still think he gets enough frags to justify him as a buy. Cajun B, I don't think he needs much of an introduction. Very explosive player, can do anything on any position. He can pick up the AWP as well. He clutches a lot of rounds for them. He gets a lot of opening picks when he's AWPing as well. Kerrigan, again, this is like the dream team, the stars of TSM I've kind of picked tonight. But Kerrigan, I think he's been amazing the last couple of months. Picked him up as my shot caller just because he's such a hybrid player. He can do anything. He can rifle. He can AWP. He's very good at opening frags as well. And he's always the entry man, it seems like, for his team as well. He's one of those players, because he's the in-game leader, he's into bomb sites first. He's the one who can get in. He's not waiting for the lag of the reaction from his teammates. He just goes in when he feels like it's the right time. So I think he's always an essential pick going into this kind of thing. Then we move on to Navi. But like we said, they're only going to play 1 game tomorrow. And although there's a high chance they'll win, you've got to kind of spread your bets against the guys who are going to play 2 games, right? So Seized and Guardian. Seized, again, another player who seems to pull his team out of despair at any given moment, always finding good amount of frags, very consistent player. Guardian, the world's best AWP player. I talked about yesterday, more of a hybrid AWPer, can rifle to a world-class level as well, so that's why he's more of a justified investment than other AWPers, for example. Hasn't been playing the best, to be honest, the last couple of days, I'll be honest. Like, it's not like he's had bad games, it's just not the kind of performances we're used to from Guardian. We normally see him lighting up the scoreboard, getting the crazy clutches, all sorts of things like that, but not so much the last couple of days. Then to finish things off, Snacks. I needed someone to kind of balance the books a little bit, someone a bit cheaper. I have saved $100, but the only player I could really justify is Snacks, and that's definitely not a bad pick. He's always
not at all. He's
always going to be a good fragger, and I think I've got a decent team here. It's just you need to make the call between who's going to win tonight, and that's such a difficult decision.
Well, and so your team's actually very similar to mine. There's only 2 differences. One is your shot caller, and the other is an individual player, which is Neo.
Sure.
We'll take a look at mine now. The only other thing I was going to say, in kind of as we mentioned, having Again, it's a variable. The variable is if you have 6 players play tonight and 5 tomorrow, or 5 players play tonight and 6 tomorrow. But even then, if this series goes longer than tomorrow night, then it ultimately doesn't matter. It's really a toss-up of how you think the series is going to play out. So if you can predict the overall outcome, then you're going to have a better chance of picking your fantasy team as well.
Sure.
But, again, shot caller is the big one. So for me, I went with Device on that, but we'll start off with VP. Pasha, Taz, and Snacks. Again, I went with 3 from both of the teams playing tonight. That way I'm guaranteed at least 5 players as opposed to 4 playing, or I guess 5 tomorrow night if I went with Na'Vi instead. But I think this is the better way to play it out, as the series will go longer. So Pasha was my first pickup. Taz has been, and obviously Pasha on the rifle lately has been pretty spot on. Taz been fairly consistent over the last 2 nights that we saw him in online
At
play.
the major as well.
Yeah.
He was stellar. He was really, really strong.
Yeah, it's a revitalized Taz in a lot of ways, because it's not, when you look at the talent on that team and the players that are on it, he's not normally the guy that stands out for big frag numbers. And then again, similar to you, I went Snacks because he filled out the roster. He was good value. It gave me a 3rd player to make sure that I had at least 3 moving forward tomorrow night. I was okay with that. That made me quite comfortable. TSM, meanwhile, I spent, they've made it disappear.
Why not?
It's a magic trick. Device, I went with him. He's usually a safe bet for me, a go-to guy. He is high value, which means that I had to skip over Dupree. But like you, I went with Cajun B and Kerrigan. The difference, again, though, is that I picked Device as the shot caller.
Interesting why you do that on the AWP player. I guess, the main AWP
but this
player.
Right, so this is the thing, because they have multiple AWPers. Kerrigan,
Yeah.
CT side. Cajun B for sure, CT side. Device, T side. But I just think Device has, if he can explode to his level and his ability, he's got the most potential on that team to have a massive game.
That's why I justified him having within my team, but I wouldn't put him as the shot caller. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
Well, yeah, exactly. That, I mean, time will tell, right? This is the thing with fantasy. It's all speculation. So, and then of course I picked up 2 and only 2 from Na'Vi, and again that'll give me 5 playing tomorrow night, no matter what. But it also does mean that I'll be lighter on this series, and that's because I think VP TSM has more potential to go longer. And I went with Guardian and Seized.
Well, just by your shot caller suggests you think TSM will win tonight.
I do think TSM should win tonight.
That's the headline.
I think everyone's team is pretty similar, actually.
Yeah, this is interesting then. I saved a lot more money than you, though, just by skipping Neo. I don't know if that amounts to anything.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Probably. Well, it doesn't even ultimately it doesn't matter. The scoreline matters.
All right. Here we go. My team then. I've got Neo, Taz, and Snacks from VP. Neo for the simple fact that he's been very good, very, very good. Taz, a consistent player like we've been blabbering about here previous as well. Snacks for the value for the money. I mean, he was not that good yesterday, actually. He wasn't scoring a lot of frags, but has obviously a lot of potential. So I felt like it was a steal for 9.59. Then going to TSM next.
We have the same 3, all 3 of us. Wow.
Device, Cajun, and Kerrigan. I picked Cajun as my shot caller.
Okay.
Instead.
Wow. So we all have the same 3 players from TSM, but we all have a different shot caller. You guys both have Neo, and I have Pasha. All right. This is similar so far.
Have we got the exact same team, Natty?
But do we?
You do, in terms of players, but
Maybe.
different shot caller.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's move on to Na'Vi then. I picked 2 from Na'Vi as well. I went for Guardian. I felt also it was really good value for the money because I think he's probably cheaper because he hasn't been as good as we usually see him play this past couple of days. But there's obviously the potential. I don't think he has a lot of off days. More often than not, he's playing very well. So I thought it was a no-brainer to pick him. Seized as well. Really good value for the money because he's just the kind of player who can explode at any point in time. So that pretty much rounds it up. I'm not sure if we actually do have the same team, do we?
I think we do.
You have the exact same team, just different shot caller.
Yeah.
He's got Kerrigan,
I've
you've
got
got
Kerrigan.
Cajun B.
Yeah.
Mine is similar, minus Neo, plus Pasha,
Yeah.
and plus Device's shot caller. Interesting thing that none of us went for Flamey, and he actually had the most amount of points yesterday for Na'Vi, but I think it was just a money thing there.
He's more expensive on the team, right? So, I couldn't. That's why I had to have Snacks at the end. I only had $100 left over, so I couldn't really.
Yeah, it was
get him
about
in there.
making a compromise at the end, I guess, in a way.
Well, that's what fantasy is. That's why those money values exist. That's why there is that handicap placed on it. We're going to take a break. We will come back with the matchup in just a few moments' time. It is going to be TSM, and it is VP. Loser gone. Winner moves on to play Na'Vi. We'll find out over 5 maps this evening. All right, guys, welcome to it, the lower bracket final. And it is TSM VP, best of 5. We've talked a little bit about it already, but let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. The 2 teams, we've seen them a little bit over the last few evenings.
Who wants to go first? Should I? Sure.
You can go first if you
All
like.
right. Sort of like I mentioned, I think TSM needs to really pick up their play. Yesterday they were lackluster. First map was fine, obviously. They won that, but then coming really flat on the second one. I think they just started off the wrong foot on that pistol round where it felt like they should have had that, but then Edward happened. And it was a theme for the whole map, and it was just gone for. Whereas VP, like I mentioned before, we just got to wait and see which kind of VP do we have here. Are we going to have the online VP, which is not very good, or do we have the real competitive one that can beat any team in the world?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know. After seeing them play Kinguin, we're not so sure as to what VP actually did turn up, considering the lineup was so weak there. They obviously had Forest, and the gear are playing there as well, so it's difficult to kind of gauge anything or kind of form they're coming out of the major. Well, obviously, a lot of teams maybe still resting, and obviously that's why we're seeing a little bit of these lineup influxes maybe, and seeing people not wanting to commit so much time to CS. But anyway, I think we're ready to have a little rundown of the rosters. We can start breaking it down from there, right?
Yeah, so we'll look at TSM, and we do have all 5 of them playing again this evening. So Kerrigan, obviously, the first night, 2 nights ago, was absent. They brought in Freiburg. They've got him again. And we talked about their T side last night on Dust. We thought it would be a little bit more, I guess, prominent. It kind of wasn't. It still struggled for them significantly against Na'Vi. So tonight, if they play that map, going to have to be something they address. But regardless, KGB, Device, Dupree, Kerrigan, Zippix, I don't know who wants to go first, break them down. But each player has a very significant role on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about the mix-up of the AWP player. They switch it between KGB, Device, and Kerrigan. So those guys, depending on the map, depending on the situation, can all pick up the AWP at any time. If you were to pick up one player, it'd be Device. I think he's got the headline role as the AWPer. Going on to Dupree, is a player I had on my team yesterday, one of the best riflers in the world right now. Definitely in the top 5, I'd say. He's very consistent. You know he's always going to be good in situations, and you can't ever bank on him not getting kills, really. He's very, very good player. And then Zipex, okay, so there's a poor player within TSM, someone that you're not 100% sure, considering yesterday as well. We talked about him definitely stepping up his game. He's been very good in clutch situations and stepping up, perhaps in situations you shouldn't be expected to when his team haven't performed at a certain level. But yesterday, very quiet, very difficult game on Dust2 for him, but definitely in the last couple of months at least, showing he's better than just being relied on as a support player. He can step on the big situations, and that kind of rounds the team off nicely with just Kerrigan at the end there, the in-game leader. And normally the point man these days as well, going into certain situations just because he knows he can rely on his own calls and not having to wait on the sort of delay between him and his teammates hearing his calls. So you'll see him going a lot at first into bomb sites, and yeah, that kind of ties it all up, really.
From my perspective, I think Kerrigan goes unnoticed a lot of the time. I think the way I see him is just the way he's so hardworking. He spends so much time on scouting teams and coming out with new things all the time, making sure that their team's as unpredictable as possible, but at the same adding a lot of fragging ability and being that third guy who can pick up the op as well. So I think I think they could have not gotten a better upgrade when it comes to getting an in-game leader.
I think you're right. I think the whole thing about CS is right. If you can concentrate on your own game so much, but if you're not aware of what the enemy is going to bring to the table, it's not going to matter because you're not going to be able to dissect them going into each game. That's what they're so good at, especially their CT sides. They'll base it around their opponent every single time, and as you'll see, a lot of adaptiveness and a lot of interesting plays just because they know what the enemy is going to bring to the table.
Well, we'll take a look at their opponent now as well. Virtus.pro. Again, all 5 in, as they have been each night for these guys. Taz, Neo, Pasha, Snacks, Bialy. A little bit of changing within the roles of this team. Taz going back to shot calling. He's been the most consistent shot caller for them. Occasionally he'll jump in. You say that.
Who knows? They might have changed after the major. They seem to change after every single tournament. They changed the shot caller within the team. But as far as we're aware, Taz is the shot caller within this lineup.
The bigger change, though, is Pasha off the op.
Something I've noticed really is whenever Virtus.pro goes through a rough patch and then they start coming back, is that they go into very simple strategies where they 4-man somewhere and just go by one flash and go in and pile together. And then when it's not going as well, they go into these more complex things. So it just feels to me like whenever they're playing the most simple Counter-Strike is when they really flourish and do their best.
Well, they obviously had a pretty good showing at the major, getting to the semi-finals, losing 2-1 to Fnatic in that series, but definitely can't take anything away from them. Very strong lineup. We talked about Pasha picking up the AK now, Neo getting the AWP play, looking like a much more stable roster, I think. Now, since that's happened, they've bounced back from the slump of form they've had in the last 3 months or so, but here's the past encounters between them. Like, it's pretty even across the board, I'd say. It looks like VP may have just nipped them.
And well, yeah, it's 5-4 on the maps that are presented here, but the story goes much further than that. Star Ladder not on here. You can go back to the Star Ladder in March when VP had that incredible comeback on Overpass. It was nearly the choke again from TSM. They went to overtime. Taz at the back authentication error. Replayed that round. They went to overtime. TSM able to close it out. Yeah. That was insane. But I think these two teams have played each other probably more than any other two teams. I don't quote me on that. I'd have to look at it, but easily up there with anyone else in terms of who's played the most against each other this year. And it really has been as back and forth as these 5 individual highlighted matches show. It's really 50-50.
Yeah, absolutely. It's well, here's the featured matchup. So we have Karrigan versus Neo. We talked about so many AWPers being within TSM, but I guess they're going to kind of compare these two head-to-head. Neo definitely stepping up the AWP recently. I think this will be an interesting matchup. Definitely one that could happen on certain maps. If it comes to Mirage, for example, you're definitely going to see Karrigan picking up the AWP there as well. So this could be, let's see how that one goes down. Let's have a look at the stats. It seems like in terms of kills and deaths, it seems like Neo's got him taken a little bit there, but there's only so much you can really take away from raw stats. It doesn't really paint the whole picture.
Absolutely not. Entirely situational, but again, it is a good indicator of what we're going to see between these two players. I mean, even still, there's a lot of similarities there. I'm excited to see what VP is going to do with the secondary op if we see it come out, because we've seen Pasha not even be in that role as of late now too.
Yeah, I mean, it's been good for Pasha, for sure. I feel like he's just found his ways, not opping, and just being the run-and-gun kind of guy instead. You know, it seems to be fitting him, sort of being the no-brainer guy who's just going to be running around.
Yeah, he's been let off the leash a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Just being told, okay, we're going to set you up with some smokes and some Molotovs here. You just run out, see what you can do. And he's living up to that role brilliantly. Like some of the bigger maps, like when you're more at the back end on the terrorist side, on Train, for example, he goes out, can find out to hunt out the CTs very easily, and he's been really stepping up to that role and definitely one of the influential players on each round.
Well, we'll see how much influence he has tonight. Of course, it is going to be a best of 5. We're going to look at the maps now. Only one ban each. We assume TSM is going to take out Cobblestone. And, well, in fact, they do. And, interestingly, Virtus.pro takes out Dust2, which was a struggle for TSM last night.
That's kind of interesting, the fact that they would have watched TSM play last night and saw they actually looked a bit weak. But I guess it definitely depends on every matchup you have to consider. Yeah. So if VP don't feel like they have the tools to do the same thing as Navi did yesterday, then it's probably a wise decision. So I don't see why it's a problem. But Inferno first. That's going to be a great map. VP, definitely very strong. They're actually going to be starting on the CT side as well. So they've got one of the best CT Infernos, I think, in the world right now. They're very good at locking out, isolating teams with their utility, smoke and incendiary players especially. It's so on point. It's very difficult to play against them. So that's going to be a great map.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, they struggled a bit, didn't they, the other night on Inferno CT, as far as if I remember correctly. Am I wrong? Am I right? I'm pretty sure
We can look at it. We can have a look.
Yeah, I think you actually are correct on that one.
But usually they
16-13 against Navi.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm talking like generally.
Yeah, generally speaking, they are very good with the CT side. It's just the way they preserve all their needs. Like they're not just wasting anything if it's not necessary. They will use it really wisely, and just the way, like we were discussing about this before as well, how they sort of lock down all the way down to Banana, and then they'll fall back, but they'll make you think they're playing pretty aggressively, which will make the terrorists use more nades going into Banana, having them less nades to do an actual execution over to B.
For me, one of the things with TSM on this particular map, and they are aggressive on that Banana with that deep smoke that goes down right above the T stairs, is that depending on who the first player out of spawn is, whether it's Xyp9x or Karrigan, that's usually the player that goes deep. And for whatever reason, if it's Karrigan, it's usually more effective. He has a way of being more conservative about it. He'll get into cover, whether it's tree, in the corner, just play a more passive spot. But Xyp9x, for whatever reason, or Xyp9x, I guess, as we're being consistent now, is usually gets caught in the open if they flash through. So Xyp9x, I've seen individual matches, particularly against Fnatic, against Na'Vi, teams that are aggressive on their T side to take Banana, that Xyp9x is the guy that gets caught. So hopefully he's made adjustments. It's been a few months since that's been a consistent issue, but it's definitely still something that arises time to time.
Well, one thing we have to consider as well, this is the best of 5. So this is the a dream scenario if Counter-Strike fans wanted to see how this is done. You only get to remove one map each, and that just shows you how deep your map pool has to be in the top end of CS right now. You can't actually go into tournaments or these kind of leagues with just having, okay, we'll just veto these couple of maps. Best of 5 is quite regular now, and especially in these kind of leagues, we're in the lower bracket. Seeing a best of 5, I'd say it's quite a rare thing, but I think it's really cool. It kind of shows you can't just rely on being strong on certain maps and going through to get through to the main tournament and guaranteed some money in that way.
Yeah, and I think for this matchup, particularly because both teams are really good on all those 5 maps, so I think it's going to be really good Counter-Strike this evening. We may go all the way 5
Definitely
maps.
going all the way.
Yeah, I think so. I think this has high potential. I mean, it's not going to go 3. If it goes 3, it's going to be 3 insanely close matches that could have gone the other way. This is not going to be a blowout, even if the scoreline indicates otherwise. 4 maps, okay, maybe someone sneaks one out, but 5 is very likely. Odds indicate it. EGB, pretty much 1-to-1. I guess 1.8 to 1. How is 1.8 to 1.8 a thing? How is that not 1-to-1? I don't know how odds work, apparently. 53-47 on CSGO Lounge. I mean, this is, in fact, favoring VP. This is pretty dead even, and there you go. TSM slightly favored on esports gaming. Everyone's in agreement that this is dead even. HLTV slightly more favorable for Virtus.pro, but Twitch. Okay, so Virtus.pro seems to be the favorite in Twitch chat.
That's all that matters, right? That's the only thing that matters in the world.
Well, yeah, we've all kind of hinted that we think TSM going to win this, judging by our shot callers, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Who was your shot caller? Sorry,
KGB.
Okay, so yeah, we've all said TSM were our favourites for this. I think that's, if you had to pick someone, I think that's a fair guess, but that's not to say VP can't sneak this one out. It's so hard to call. I think this first map will be indicative as to what kind of form we're going to be seeing. I think it was quite clear yesterday that TSM were slightly lackluster in terms of the individual play. It wasn't so much the team approach to the maps, it was just hitting shots, making some some big shots being missed as well, and that's what we're going to see tonight. Like I said, VP starting on the CT side, that could be great for them. They could get some really good momentum going, get to see whether they can get some comfort on the map as well, but yeah, very difficult to even say where this will go, and I think the odds are...
I mean, this is by far of all the matches we've seen the hardest one to call, so we'll go with our predictions. We've done it every night. Not to.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be TSM's going to win it, but it's going to go all 5 maps.
So 3-2 TSM, not to? Or rather, excuse me, Henry?
3-1 TSM.
See, I'm torn. Should I just YOLO it like last night and go VP on this one? Jeez, no.
You can't bet against yourself. You've already done you've said your cards out.
I have said it in the Vulcan. I'm going to go 3-1 as well. I kind of feel like Henry, although he hasn't been right yet, might be onto something tonight.
He was close yesterday.
Was he close? No. Just thought I'd ask. So there we have it. Twitch actually still favors, oddly enough, despite the voting on the first map favoring Virtus.pro, they're still favoring TSM overall 3-2. So they're with you not to. In the end, though, all 4 people, if you include Twitch as a people, it is TSM that is the favorite. So we'll start things off on Inferno. And, of course, based on who picked the map, Virtus.pro, obviously TSM picked the map, Virtus.pro get to pick CT side to start.
Yeah, but I don't think that really matters at this point. It's 5 maps. Both teams, like I said, they like to play all these maps, so it doesn't really matter whose map is what.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just think it's nice. It's the first half of the evening, getting CT start on a map you know you're comfortable on. It's not like they're weak on this. It's going to be nice just to kind of get the confidence together, get the morale high. And if they can get the pistol as well, it's going to be a really good start for them. But obviously the T side pistol, I always favour it towards the T's just because you can just choose one area. As long as you work out what the CTs are doing in terms of their aggressive pushes, you choose one area together and you should be able to take advantage of that. But I think there's definitely going to be some interesting plays for us tonight. You can see all 10 players on the server, so we should be starting pretty sharpish as we jump on the server ourselves.
Yeah, it looks like we're pretty much ready to go. All 10 players are here. And I'm curious to see what TSM's going to pull out. Obviously, last night we saw, and you mentioned it now too, that Dust2 matchup where the pistol should have gone their way. It didn't. That kind of set the tone. Starting out T-side Inferno, getting a pistol, and the ensuing 2 rounds is massive to start off with that 3-0 lead terrorist side.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most important pistol rounds, I think, on Counter-Strike right now, just because of how this map plays out. It's a very hard map on T-side. However, I think a lot of teams have become a lot better playing T-side than previously. It's funny how this game consistently develops the way teams, first they find a way how to counter a certain strategy, but then comes a team that is able to counter that defensive strategy. And it's just ongoing development all the time.
Well, Ladies and gentlemen, we are underway on D Inferno, and the first map of this best of 5 is going to be VP starting on the CT side, TSM on the T. We'll just have a quick look at the buy for TSM. They've got 4 sets of armor. Kara going to be utility players, got 1 smoke and a flash, 2 flashbang as well to go. So, trying to get some banana control early on.
Yeah, lots of decoys. See how they utilize them. Look like they just want to toss them everywhere, create confusion. KGB device already pushing into banana, getting that at least map control established. Meanwhile, Bialy is already up inside the bedroom. Taz, Pasha also playing off on that boiler side of A. So typical VP getting aggressive on the A site. Gives them a bit more of a read on exactly what TSM are up to, but they've still got to deal with the fact that Zipnix is going to try and work it up the stairwell. Taz has spotted him, but he won't land the shot. Meanwhile, Pasha has on Dupree. So that is one of the A players already gone for TSM, and Zipic's going to take that invitation to rotate back through mid. Does he hear Pasha go above him? He's going to pop out from this underpass exactly after Pasha's gone by. Meanwhile, it's all going in on B. Kerrigan, he's managed to pick up 2. Zipix goes down. Bialy finds him, but Pasha's arrived because Zipix couldn't get on his heels quickly enough. Kerrigan, or rather, excuse me, KGB able to get that shot, but he's all that's left, and he doesn't have the bomb yet planted. He's just able to recover it. He knows they're coming, and Bialy, he's already ripped his head straight off the shoulders.
So TSM trying to get some banana control there. Left the player at the bottom of the middle. Pasha went for an aggressive face, took down Dupree, and that opened up the round there. You saw Zipex realized he was in a difficult situation at that point, went through the underpass area. He got taken down as well, and Pasha really did open up the round for them. 2 frags for him, forcing the T's to go into the B sites, and that's all it really came down to, really. And we didn't get the bomb down there, so TSM will be semi-forcing this round. They've got some 3 Desert Eagles. We know they can be very deadly with those guns, but VP and true to their style, I guess. Full SMG and a shotgun buy. They never really tend to go for the rifles here. They definitely like to favor this aggressive play with the SMGs.
So they want to try and get a little more forward in that banana position, but we see that smoke already deployed, so Neo and Snacks able to play at least from the sandbags. I love the SMGs. We'll see how effective they can be. Definitely putting themselves in forward positions. A's a little more passive this time. Taz over in front of Library. We've got Pasha in the cubby. Bialy going to be waiting on top of the balcony outside of apartments. And TSM slowly working in this direction. So we'll see how the passive approach as opposed to that heavily boiler presence plays itself out.
Well, you can see they were making their way towards Pasha. This could be big.
Well, Pasha's already found 1. Dupree down. Smoke going to go out so Pasha doesn't have to worry about being shot down and maybe potentially can cross over. Pasha's been using, and so has Taz, this P90 time and time again over the last 2 evenings, and already the SMGs are working out. Bialy's managed to pick up another. Zipix manages, meanwhile, though, to get TSM a bit of a chance, as does Cajun B, but it's eventually all going to be extinguished, and Zipix will be the last to fall. It's 2-0 Virtus.pro.
Yeah, we talked about that passive setup in the CTs, whether it's going to work out for them. The fact that TSM had no utility to flush any of the CTs out there forced us to walk into choke points and hope for the best. Pasha actually played that really smart, you know, playing in that garbage area and just getting 1 kill, then dropping the smoke on himself, not giving himself the grey screen. He just knew any terrorist running through that had to come to him fully blind. So that's actually a nice deployment there and did a very good job of holding them off. So props to him, and it's going to force TSM onto a full eco now. A couple of P250s in hand. They're trying to show some heavy mid presence there. Pasha does lock down the device, and it should be a pretty clean round for them.
So far, so good. Taz again going to follow up. Dropping down a second player. Bialy using a pistol, just enough to take down Dupree, and it is flawless.
This is where it gets interesting, though. Obviously, they've got the 2 P90s there. It's a great weapon to have on this map. Lots of close choke points, lots of tight angles. You've got apartments, you've got the banana area. So you expect something quite aggressive from them as well. Neo actually opting not to keep his MP7. I think that's a wise choice. The P90 is viable, the MP7 not so much. 3 M4, 2 P90s is kind of a dream for them. Full incendiaries as well. Let's see how they approach this map. You can see 2 players heading towards banana, but it looks like they're going for some mid-aggression here. Pushing down, and this takes some nade damage actually as well.
Yeah, a little bit. Just enough to deter things.
Yeah, I think they may have gone for that had they not received those, but TSM
passive,
now.
Yeah, passive play on B again for VP.
This is where TSM usually does their best when they have banana control on T side. They have really good execute towards B, like really, really good. I think the best in the whole game.
Well, we'll see if they can utilize it. It's a bold statement when you look at teams like Keedstar, well, I guess now Luminosity and Na'Vi, so we'll see if they can utilize it. But so far, they're still leading off with favoritism toward A, as Taz and Bialy stacked up in pit side. 1 on the balcony, 1 down below, and in fact, the one below Bialy is staring toward Boiler from behind the truck. Pasha, meanwhile, playing passively on Arch side. Gives TSM the confidence to get around mid and maybe overconfident to take A, but they're still walking into a very decent setup from VP if they do.
Look at that Molotov.
Just forced Pasha out of position, but there it is, Bialy. Now they've knocked Taz off the balcony, which does mean Bialy, as we see, has to fall further inside the pit. He won't give up the position, it's so strong, but cajunb gets him anyway. Well played, great entry from TSM because now the site is entirely theirs. The biggest problem, pit, has already been resolved. It's left now just to Snacks and Neo. Both with M4's armor. Utilities, only just a Molotov and a flash for Neo. And what do they try to do here? They've got one kit, but they're not even going to bother.
It's not worth it at all. Once the bomb goes down, you've got 4 players alive. It's almost impossible to retake that sort of situation. If it was closer or deeper within the game, they may have gone for it. But their money's still very strong. They have, like we said, they brought those P90s to this round as well. Obviously, it's a bit of a gamble. You're not going to be able to play the range you'd like. You can't play as defensively, perhaps in the pit. So we saw one player towards the truck area there. He got shut down pretty effectively, it was.
Yeah, the importance of when you're playing that passively on our CT side Inferno is to make sure you have the Molotovs left for that late round push. When it actually happens, it's going to slow it down so much, or make your opponents run through the fire and make it that much easier for you. So make sure you have a Molotov playing that shirt A.
Well, they actually did a pretty good job of holding them off to around the 30-second mark. It's just when they still had enough time to execute there. When you've got the AK advantage over the P90s, for example, you're normally going to win those battles. So TSM getting their first run on the board, but VP definitely buying back into this one. Still have full utility to play with, and they're showing a little bit more aggression towards Banana this time, but not as much as you'd like to see. Potentially pushing down and not giving the Ts that much freedom. But another slow round here. TSM just leaving the bomb at T-steps.
Already making his way onto the boiler windowsill, but not yet through. He's got free rite of passage, and now he takes it, which lets Sipix work up toward the stairwell. As Device and cajunb again have this banana control. Bombs all the way back on T stairs, so they're going to have to go back and grab that at some point in time. And interestingly, Taz has burrowed himself inside this A site. So very passive from VP, but also playing very close together, which does mean TSM is going to have to solve the riddle quickly when they walk in. If there's any confusion at all, the crossfire would be established. But Nazi, we're about to see what you were saying.
Yeah, well, you can see Neo and Snacks still have a smoke each as well, so they can lock off the banana for another 30 seconds potentially here. And they've just dropped on there at the top, and this is going to be very difficult for TSM to make a decision. Do we go into this bomb site now?
If they smoke off CT connector right now, though, Snacks is not yet in position. He's coming back over. There's the smoke late, and they're going to spar. Kerrigan and Snacks pass each other. I'm not sure they're aware of it yet, and as a result, Snacks is able to take down 2. It's Dupree and Device. cajunb falling just before that to Neo. And as he turns around, he finds Kerrigan, who attempted to go through construction, and that is a very convincing round from VP.
That's textbook, I'm afraid. That's exactly what we were talking about going into this game. They're utilizing the smokes from middle. They're not actually, the banana guys aren't using their smokes at the start of the round. They're waiting for the teammates to keep piling that on at the right times. And then we saw 30 seconds remaining on the clock there, another smoke going down, and it put TSM in a position where they had to run through smoke there. And look at the advantage Snacks had going into that round. That great smoke dropped on the steps as well. That's on purpose as well. So they're able to crouch underneath that. The Ts don't have vision like he does underneath. He can watch the feet running in. So that was a perfect round for them. It's actually going to force TSM onto a semi-force buy here. Tech 9s and AKs.
Molotov now is well deployed for Virtus.pro. And we'll see this. I think this battle, this similar style of forward pressure from the CTs all evening long in this map. All potential 30 rounds, because TSM also likes to utilize that control. So what can TSM do? First gun round successful. The following round not. Left with limited economy, forced to use just 3 rifles. And Tech 9s, it could still be enough that they can find the opening pick, but Virtus.pro is playing carefully, falling back according to plan, not giving up too much. If a smoke or anything that contests them seems like a threat, why stick around? They'll get into better positions, and now it's Snacks who will distract and leave Pasha in the corner, but it's a good response from Kerrigan, who turns around, albeit although late, still able to take down the shot. Means Taz now has to play this smart for the front of Library, and he'll retreat to the comforts of a warm and cozy fireplace inside the bomb site. In fact, he goes further. He's going to spar off with Kerrigan, and that might have been an overextension. Gives Bialy a chance, but he's spotted as well. And Device, despite losing Dupree, gets that kill. It's left to 4 alive versus just the 2 defenders of VP. And they're both outside of the A site. Snacks in the library. He's close, but smoked off. And Neo, he's going to, as Snacks exits, take the same decision to walk into Mona Lisa and hang out.
Yeah, definitely another save for them.
Yeah, Taz got off in no man's land there. I mean, I can understand they did try to get the information on top and middle if there's anything there, but it was way too late. Obviously, TSM was there with 4 people committing to that site, so sort of bad luck, I guess, and it was the last nail in the coffin in this round for Virtus.pro.
Unfortunately as well, Pasha getting isolated in that area without any real backup there. He was on, even when the teams came to face him, he wasn't able in a position. You could definitely get 1 kill there, but there was no teammate to kind of synergize with him and actually pick up 1 or 2 frags. He got locked down in the corner, and that was the opening of the round there. You could see the CTs kind of panicking in that situation. We had Taz isolated on side, Bialy in the pit, not really having too much teamwork there as well, and it just seemed like TSM were just trying to pull the map apart a little bit, gain that mid control, got a frag there as well, and once they executed through quad, the frags were made, and it was a pretty simple round for them. But this is they need to start getting some rounds together. As Neo picks up the AWP here, and he'll be going sending 3 players towards B area, looking for that first pick themselves.
Can they find that first pick? That's the question, as Neo's already got an op very far forward in the banana, in underneath the archway. Support play from Snacks. And they've definitely been winning this battle on getting the control, but there's the flash through. And that now allows Kerrigan to hit the shot on Neo. Bye-bye AWP. Can Snacks recover it? He wants to. Drops away his own rifle. And he's going to juggle them back as well, so he's got the option to take the initial shot with the op, fall, recover at M4. But how far into the site does he get it? He's preoccupied doing that, and KGB's already spotted him. And he'll smoke off CT. They know they've got 1 kill on that B site. If they can isolate the rotations and try and push onto Snacks quickly, there might be a chance, but Snacks counter smokes, and they'll just reconsider their options.
Good thing about that as well, when Snacks was retreating, actually headshot 2 terrorist players through the smoke. Bialy got a dink as well, so you can see the terrorist team are very low on HP, so the CTs definitely still have a chance in this round. 28.5 seconds remaining on the clock. Just having a look at the utility available. They have got incendiary. They need to definitely make some frags as the T's make their ascendance onto the B side.
Kerrigan walks through that smoke. Hey, meanwhile on B, KGB just walks straight in. No smoke to go through. Hits the shot on Snacks. Gives them this site. Again, still very low HP on 2 players, but Device picking up an AWP. Interesting to note, he is the T-side operator. Could use that potentially in the next round. Not common they go to it on Inferno to TSM, but either way, about to pick up their 3rd round as Pasha and Taz don't even look to contest.
Yeah, Snacks need to do better in that with the AWP. We talk about him being the secondary AWPer in the team. That was a pretty simple shot, I'm afraid. Missing that was a bit of a stinker from him. But that, unfortunately, without making 1 frag there, didn't even make this round viable for his team. And we talked about how low they were as well. Definitely an opportunity to retake that one. They will pick up a couple of exit kills here. Pasha takes down Dupree and Cajun. Doesn't get the AWP, though, on Device, and that's going to be the most heralded prize, because that's going to be very effective. They can change the pace now and start working the picks. Now they've worked out where the CTs are playing from. But now, looking at the money of VP, they're in a difficult situation, right? They've got 2 rifles saved, but the rest of the guys only have about $2,000 each. So I assume they'll be just saving the guns, looking forward to next round, which is quite surprising for VP. We know they like a force buy, but showing some discipline for once, maybe.
Yeah, right now the best bet is to try and stack somewhere and try to get lucky, basically. That's your best bet.
Well, let's see what they can do with this. They have got the AWP, as I mentioned, Device. I'll be using that to kind of feel out the areas. Top and middle would be the most logical, and see where they can get a pick, and Pasha will be waiting for them.
2 M4s, what can they do? Because Pasha is one of them that's already gone down. Taz was the other. He wasn't quite quick enough to the draw to pick up any more than 1 response, and Device has found that up close and personal with the AWP, mind you, but it's effective. 3 players now going to push down banana from VP. TSM, as soon as they clue in, should take that bomb into the A site, but they need to go now. They're losing HP, in fact, on 3 players. Device eventually will turn back and run toward A, but he needs to go. They're still not confident that there's no one alone inside that A site. So it's still 3 versus 3, and despite losing the 2 M4s, which are still on the ground, mind you, they've picked up an AK on Bialy. So if they can secure those positions, if Zipix wants to be passive on the top of middle, it could be 3 rifles on a retake, mind you, no armor and no kits. Yeah. As the smokes will be deployed front library, as per usual in a post-plant situation, deter Bialy from trying to walk through. And they have picked up those 2 rifles. In fact, they've gone for one of the M4s and also an AK that they found on the ground. So a good chance for Virtus.pro to build up the economy if they could save all those. But Snacks overextends a little bit. They've lost one of which. The other 2, Neo in a very fragile position, won't get away. Bialy will.
Yep, so pretty decent Rico round. Well, I guess it was 2 rifles saved, and it could have gone either way at one point. We saw TSM walking out middle looking for picks there. Taz managed to pick up 1, and then Bialy gets to kill himself. That's where he got his AK from. But a pretty expensive round for TSM, but on the T side and the amount of rounds they're getting right now, it's not too much of a huge deal, saving that AWP as well. So this is where things get interesting, I guess. 4-4, VP looking a little bit lackluster in some of these rounds.
Yeah, but the big takeaway really is that they can actually force TSM for an eco pretty quickly instead of, if they would have all lived, it would have been that much harder. It would have been at least an extra round.
Well, we can see the utility buy from VP. That's not the strongest time. Only 1 incendiary to play with. They have got full smokes, but definitely not going to be the same sort of level of play we saw before. But TSM once again getting that banana control. Snack's going to be contesting it perhaps though.
So 3 up. Quickly they get around the corner is up for debate because Snacks now does go for that peek, and the flash coming out from his teammate allows him to pick up 1 for absolutely 0 damage in return. And as such, TSM forced to reevaluate the situation. Not only that, Bialy has gotten forward inside of the boiler. Typix Kerrigan trying to work a crossfire setup on the top of middle, but not working out. In fact, both gone. As Taz found the second as Kerrigan tried to respond on Pasha. And it just leaves the 2 Ds.
Double D.
I was glad you said it and not I. For once, I'm not that person.
Well, a 5-on-2 situation definitely doesn't favour them. 40 seconds on the clock. They have got the bomb. They are smoked out right now. And Neo and Snacks waiting for them. They haven't actually got utility to hold them off. This is probably the best place they could have actually opted to go towards. Dupree is going to be leading the charge here. And I think they will be going for an opening frag. Smoking off spawn. That's just going to go down.
The boost from Snacks as well. It's going to turn out to be very effective. 2 more kills.
And a clean round as well.
Well,
no
that's
kills
the thing.
from TSM to VP. So economically, that was a great win for VP.
Yep, you can see the money being hugely affected there for TSM. 3 players going to be onto eco here. They have got Divides and Ziblings who could drop some Tech 9s perhaps. They could invest into the round like that.
Yeah, that's the effect from the round before. Basically.
Yeah, they're dropping those last few frags, right? But yeah, that was all down to Snacks really. They didn't have any information on the map whatsoever. He did a pop flash over, got that first frag, even called what was going on, and then the team were able to pick them apart at that stage now. They've just heard the Glocks going off as well, and you can see this aggression coming down with Snacks. Even when they know they're eco, sometimes the best thing to do is just go and shut it down before they have a chance to isolate some 2 terrorists, seeking a monster perhaps, and should be a very simple procedure for them. We go 6-4. VP now finding some footing on D Inferno, and we can see the reply. The buy will be possible. It's definitely not going to be easy
ideal, yeah. But keep in mind that TSM did not pick up this pistol round, and they've still gotten 4 cents, which is an impressive scoreline. I mean, if you compile that with 3 that they didn't get from losing that pistol, you could be at 7 already right now on their T side. So
yeah, it's a great start.
This is not too bad at all. Not too shabby.
Well, Neo getting the AWP again. He's going to be towards B. Once again, it didn't work out for him before. Got taken down through the smoke. What can he make of it this time?
3. Trying again to find his way into boiler. He's looked to that position in multiple rounds now. Smoke's going to go out. One of those intended to land at the front window of the truck. The other will cover off the gap. That means Pitt will be isolated to allow a wrap. But that won't necessarily put them past Pasha, who's already found his way inside the boiler stairs and a first kill. Taz going to pick up another, and Bialy, he's going to come over and support now from balcony. So they've got 2 up high and above, but those smokes are still deployed, which means the bomb goes down. And not only that, they've pulled the situation back slightly by Cajun getting a kill, but he since dissolved, disappeared, and fell 6 feet under to the barrel of Snacks' gun. Zipic suffers a similar fate, so it's left to Device. He's managed to pull 1 back, but it's essentially a 1-on-4.
He's gone.
And yeah, with 3, yeah, forget it. He'll allow the defuse. He's going to get out of there with the AK-47.
So pretty simple execute from TSM. They didn't get the same level of banana control that time. So normally when the VP be playing the AWP towards B, they've actually had 3 players then committing investing a lot of men this time. They just had Neo and Bialy, I think, but Pasha playing in the boiler room zone. Played that really smart, actually. He heard the T's coming up, waited for someone to actually show some presence there. Took 1 down, didn't overcommit, fell back, and gave his team the man advantage there, forcing the T's to execute onto the site, and they just had just great crossfire setup. And it looks like TSM now will be responding with a fast banana play. Neo having to fall back with that flashbang. Snacks once again stepping up.
Virtus having the man advantage again because of it. Now allows Neo to further deploy flames. Setting Inferno ablaze all the way down the banana. And Snacks getting a second kill, but he is responded eventually by Kerrigan, who made his way in by the tree. As he came back out to avenge his teammate, he'll also further his movement back in toward middle with the rest of his team. Just the two solo remaining players. Taz and Bialy wait for them now on A, and they're going to go quickly into Taz. It's traded. This favors them and also gives them an advantage now as Xyp9x will find Taz. But look at the remaining HP for dupreeh and Xyp9x. It's down to 46 and 23, whereas Pasha and Neo both have 100 respectively. It's going to be an M4 and an AWP as well for the counter-terrorists as they go for this retake. Good smokes deployed meanwhile, but a second one from Virtus.pro that goes toward the pit does allow Neo to get forward and have the courage to work his way in. Molotov's going to create issues, although not really. Neo managing to get away from it fast enough to only lose 7 HP, and they'll push on to pit. They know they've got the position, and Pasha's found the kill, but dupreeh snuck around in behind, and he uses Graveyard to perfection.
Yep, so the pit player there causing a huge distraction. dupreeh didn't really show his hand whatsoever, just hiding it out there with the bomb, making sure he waited to the very last second before he had to do anything there. And I think we can see this play from him now. Just allowing his, you can see, just waiting for his moment to strike. There it is. Takes down 2 nice clean kills at the end there. It all came down to the entrance on the side. The fact they got onto the side, took those 2 kills down. The CT's having to retake from such a difficult position, especially with an AWP as well. Just came down to good fragging and the entrance ability onto the bomb site. 5th round on the board for TSM, but VP's economy still reasonably strong here now. But Pasha takes down Cajun. Great opening pick from him. That takes a lot of balls to face that angle, and he makes it work.
Again, though, TSM having a lot of problems trying to establish a presence inside that banana, and it gives so much control to Virtus.pro to dictate the play and limit the options from TSM.
That's what I think they should have done all the way through this half, to be honest with you. It's going to limit TSM's options so much.
And Pasha doing more damage, but dupreeh, that second shot was beautiful. Yes, he responds to the first, but the second was all on his own. Now he's going to work in, and Device has found Taz inside Graveyard. Meanwhile, the flank's already happening because Neo went down deep inside Banana and continued forward, but he only finding one as Xyp9x inside pit is able to respond. It gives 2 versus 1 in the favor of TSM. And Snacks, following in the footsteps of his former teammate, may catch them off because the timing is gone far enough by that Xyp9x won't be looking for it. He was jumping around trying to find the information, and now Device is stuck inside the site and nearly does the damage, but Device up close with the AWP holds true.
So that's really impressive from TSM after losing that first pick as well, being able to execute effectively onto a bomb site after losing your first and one of your most explosive players as well. Cajun B taken down, convincingly winning the round as well. Came down to a 2-on-1 in the end. So I was talking about Snacks playing phenomenally all night, but look at these shots coming in from dupreeh. Amazing entry shot. That's actually incredibly well done from him, and there's not really much you can do to counter that when people are hitting shots like that. I talked about him being one of the best riflers in the world, and that is why. And the VP buy struggling a lot now. Mag 7s and 5-7s on the hands of Bialy and Pasha there. So seems like TSM actually favouring this A side quite a lot compared to B. We talked about their executions being so strong there, but another simple round as Cajun opens it up.
Shot is dead accurate for Cajun on the second as well. Device able to backstab Bialy as he got trapped inside the stairwell of Boiler. And Cajun B's already pushed more than beyond the bomb site. He's inside Graveyard with the smoke deployed on Library already. Poor Neo and Snacks may just have to concede the round and allow this to go to 7-7, so we'll split the half regardless. Barring any magical plays right now from Virtus.pro. Snacks able to find the first on Kerrigan, but they're gone.
Well, last round it was dupreeh. This time it's Cajun B. Huge entry kills. There's not really much more you can analyze than that. He's just walking up and ending lives as he enters the mid area there. And maybe this is the point where VP need to start utilizing more of that grenade play. They've been going in with very forced buys, not having the amount of utility they would like, and they're allowing TSM to have these angles and opportunities to face them in that sort of area. So they either need to choose now, do they go to more of a passive setup and force them to come to the bomb site? But this is the last round of the half now. They have to get a force into this. Mag 7s once again, 2 Mag 7s in fact. And this looks like a round you probably do favour TSM. Let's just have a look at these kills as you get to the site. Like I said, pretty simple procedure really. What more can you say? He walked up and owned both of them. That's kind of it. So nice work from him.
Thank you very much. So as mentioned, we'll split the half regardless, but who's going to take the advantage moving in to the opposing side? 7-7, round 15 commenced, and it is a slightly disadvantaged buy for Virtus.pro. 2 mag 7s, as well as a FAMAS for Bialy. Device, Cajun Beat, look for that crossfire. Who was that ran through? I believe that was Dupree, who just manned up and jumped between them. It wasn't actually, it was Kerrigan. Leroy Jenkins, but either way it's working out as TSM again finding all of the early frags, all of them, because all 5 stay alive and all 5 will be gone for Virtus.pro. 8-7 for a terrorist side that didn't win a pistol.
I was going to say, they lost the pistol and went 0-3 as well, and win the half. We've asked who's going to step up tonight. In terms of fragging, TSM really are on fire right now.
Yeah, I felt like Virtus.pro should have played way more aggressive in Banana and have more. The way they were playing on A side, though, it was like sort of a in-between kind of way where you either want to smoke up, keep that middle smoked, and spend your smokes there, because that's where TSM is going to go for the early picks. If they don't have any banana control, eventually they will go for those picks on left and right.
I guess this is the problem when you try to save all your smokes at the later parts of the round. You actually allow TSM to have those angles, and if you get them those headshots, they're going to take it. But we go into the pistol now. It's going to be TSM on the CT side. T's not doing anything too aggressive here. CT's just making a little stack here. And you can see 2 smoke grenades as well. Suggests something more methodical here. Perhaps a banana execution.
Has to be mentioned as well, as we saw that kill graph come up between the halves, that the kills still favor Virtus.pro, which suggests the rounds they've won have been more one-sided, I guess you could say, than the ones TSM are getting. Because Snacks and Pasha lead the way with 16 and 15 respectively. The highest for TSM is Dupree on 11. But again, they've got the rounds. That's all that matters. And this one starting off with a bit of a struggle for Cajun B, you could say, down to 8 HP. They'll bring Device over to compensate that onto the B site. It's the right call, but ultimately ineffective, because the second he arrives is the second that he dies. Pasha getting that kill. Bialy following up with Cajun B, and they've only lost 1 in the process. In between all of that, Xyp9x has made himself stay alive. He's dropped the bomb planter. If he can pick up this second kill as well, then he gives his team an instrumental chance, but running out of ammunition. Taz managing to stay alive with 34. It's down to 2 versus 2, but again, bomb is still down, which does buy some time right now for TSM. 27 seconds remaining. Ample opportunity now for Neo, who's recovered that bomb to potentially place it, but Taz needs to cover both angles to allow that to happen. It's done. The deed is completed, and Neo's also stood up from his job and taken down Dupree immediately after. Kerrigan has a very tall task ahead of him. Not so much in form of Taz, but in the fact that there is 2, so Taz can play bait for Neo, who's still got full HP. And in fact, Taz does the opposite. He'll take down what Neo starts.
So Xyp9x actually causing a lot of chaos on the bomb side there. He's been pretty quiet this game again, but he was just hiding in the oranges there. Didn't actually show his guard. They killed 2 CTs on the bomb site, and he just waited. They didn't check his position whatsoever. Took the bomb down as well, and that could have been the differentiating factor had he won the round. But VP do step up. Neo getting some good control there. Got the bomb down, and they handled the situation well in the 2-1 in the end. But definitely a pistol they needed, considering what happened in the first half. Full SMG buy for them once again. You can see no armor actually from TSM. They're actually looking to play the long game here, which is probably a good decision considering how many rounds they got as team.
Yeah,
right?
and they don't have any smokes either, which is quite uncommon actually nowadays on second rounds.
Well, they definitely got the better rounds to play with, but VP just hunting down. They got the banana control right at the top. The bomb is towards apartments there.
Pasha's already through the choke point on Banana, and it's an excellent shot from that MAC-10. Has to be said from that range to take down Xyp9x. Bialy following up does give the advantage, and pretty much all of this round will need to VP. The interesting aspect was that look where Device and Kerrigan are. They're way down in alt mid. The bomb was there. Taz just barely got away with it, so they could have turned things into an odd situation. But Taz will get to be finally better late than never to get the bomb down. Device gone. You see lurks back to try and do more damage, potential damage to Virtus.pro, and that leaves just Kerrigan remaining.
So Device did get a kill this round. He took down Snacks, but Terror is now hunting down the remaining player. Kerrigan does take down Bialy as well. Does pretty well, gets another bit of damage off, but Neo finishes off the round 9-8 now in favor of VP. We can see what kind of buy TSM will bring to the party. I'd assume it'd be more of the same. A couple of P250s perhaps. They wanted to make sure they have a full, nice, clean buy going into the next round. They want to just finish this with style and not have any scrappy rounds here. So VP are probably going to be aware of this, keeping their MAC-10s, MP7s. Got 1 AK now. Bialy's going to be on the CZ. You can see he hasn't actually opted to buy any sort of utility whatsoever, so he'll probably be the recon player we discussed so much yesterday.
And now we have the smokes from TSM. They're going to try to delay Virtus.pro as much as possible by smoking the choke points in the middle of B to make them make a decision that they haven't really thought through. So let's see how that plays out.
And this gets interesting in the fact that also next round VP, who don't have a ton of money, are going to be forced to upgrade. Unless they want to play that gamble, which then means if they lose that, they won't have money to buy into the next one. So TSM's still in an okay position here, despite just having pistols in this particular round. Meanwhile, VP's made their presence known at the top of middle. Dupree's got out into alt mid from apartments. Doesn't spot Taz because in the time that he was there, he was in behind the crate. I think Taz hears him coming. Does he? I'm not 100% sure. Meanwhile, they'll look at Neo coming in, and Dupree does take Taz at the top of alt mid. So Pasha behind the smoke. TSM's going to get a crossfire position from New Box and Oranges 2. Pasha checks out Oranges 1. That leaves Cajun in an okay position, but he can't dodge enough bullets from that MAC-10, and apparently neither can Zippix. So adding money to that economy I talked about, because it's not fully flush right now from Virtus.pro. Bomb will go down. Dupree, although quick to the action, is just as quick to go down, and that leaves Device. Yes. And Device is retreating because he's picked up an AK-47. Not a bad consolation prize.
Yeah, we saw those smokes working out exactly how we thought they were, delaying VP for quite a long time. They're executing onto the site with a man down as well on around the 22nd mark. Luckily, Pasha went in with a MAC-10 first, able to find out where the CTs were camping there, locked it down, got the bomb down, and recovered the round. But Device will recover an AK from this, and that's going to be great if he can survive. Maybe take another man down with him as well. There it goes. Bayali gets taken down, but I don't think Device is going to survive too much longer as Snacks does hunt him there. But this is what we talk about. This is the round that counts. You can see the nice, healthy bank account. Device picking up the AWP. He'll be playing that around the arch area, presumably. Maybe going for that initial face as well, as he knows VP probably won't be taking an AWP for the first round as well. Pasha, I was going to say, probably want to upgrade that MAC-10. He has actually done that now. And they've got a full buy. This is where the game really gets defined. If VP can find some momentum now, they can potentially swing this in their favor. 3 players for TSM going towards B as well. Interesting.
It's not uncommon that they'll do this, specifically when Device has an AWP, but oddly it's not Device with the AWP in B, which is usually the case, although he has it this round. So he's on A. It's Dupree that went over to strengthen that banana play. He's since gone back to A, and now we've got to see how they play this, because Zipnix was and is the deep player still. This is what I was talking about in the pregame. Check that corner, but does he attempt to go? Because as soon as the flash comes through, that's almost the exact position that he doesn't have an escape plan from. There's almost a brick at his feet that you could write his name and RIP under it on. And that smoke has since dissolved, so he's gone more passive.
The thing is now, CTs don't actually have any smoke grenades or incendiaries left. They've got 1 on Cajun B, and that's about it. And that's going to be difficult. He is towards the B area, but there's still so much time left on the board. Need to work out how they're going to potentially get 1 frag here just to stop a full execute coming from VP.
Dupree and Kerrigan will play pit together. Bomb's back on B. Taz and Snacks just looking to do some distraction on the A site. It has pulled Device over to Library, which means it is just going to be Zipnix and Cajun B to slow this down. Zipnix will work through that smoke, but can't get through it all the way. There's no flash in, so Cajun B is going to have to do it solo, and he is so far. 2 kills, but then he's gone down. His job's done, but Zipnix can't respond, and therefore it comes back in the favor of Virtus.pro. Had Zipnix only picked up 1 kill there, it would have been more than enough to allow TSM to potentially close out this round. Instead, they've got to rotate the long way, and Taz, he's still lurking on that archway side. Device knows it, so he's staying in A, waiting for him to push forward. He hasn't. And where he's so low on health, he's just going to sit back on the A site. Taz is still there. He can't realize that he can leave so easily because suddenly the Predator becomes the prey, and therefore Kerrigan taking down Neo. They've got time to defuse this if Taz doesn't get down banana faster, and they're on it with the kit already. This is done deal because Taz stays with Device, who thought he was staying because of Taz. So
that's a crazy round.
What a play.
Yeah.
It was sort of like they baited them to think that they were saving, and there was 2-man group just came in and Wow.
I didn't think, I thought they were probably going for some exits there, but the Carrigan picking up those 2 entry frags onto the bomb site, that's actually kind of crazy. So Cajun did really well here. He's isolated onto the site. Picking up 2 frags is actually pretty impressive from that situation. Zipex got taken down pretty easily, but that retake there, that is one of the rounds VP probably thought they had tied up, so they started falling back and the players started panicking. And the defuse comes in, and that's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of arguments on the VP communication system right now, but TSM still fighting here. And a big round for them to pick up as we go into round number 20.
Round 20 starting off with a Virtus.pro advantage. Would be absolutely instrumental if they could pick up this round as well, given the economic situation. Whoever loses this, very likely to save in the next. And it's back to 4-on-4 and still all to play for. And of course, every time a caster talks, a situation changes. So Zipex holds true to the curse and brings down yet another VP player. And they're going to go onto this B site. Watch Cajun B. Nice shot on the first. Takes down Taz. A lot of people still speculating that spot is OP. And he definitely used it to find 2 plus the assist on the last. And as mentioned, VP now strapped for cash.
Yeah, so they got that initial pick onto Device as well. Very well played for them. Smoke being utilized properly at the top. Pop flash through that. Took down Device. He didn't even have a moment to even consider what was going on there. But Cajun B, once again, he's playing so well on this B site. That's why I've picked him up tonight. Why I value him as one of the greatest fraggers on the server right now. And we go into round number 21. VP finally forced onto an eco. TSM in a great position now to take this series. But let's see what they can do as VP make their ascendance up to the B bomb site. It's going to be Pasha leading the charge there, but a grenade kill from Dupree.
Knew he tagged up Snacks on the way by, so just the grenade to follow. That's well executed. Dupree still continues to lead the way. Things are in standard formation. Dupree finding yet another on Neo, and Device following that up with the op shot on Bialy. And Device, this is one of the only maps, by the way, that Device still will be the opper for TSM. Kerrigan occasionally will pick it up if he has a really heavy B spawn to get into that banana, but for the most part, this is Device's only CT-sided op map, and it's definitely showing off why, as he closes that one out with the CZ75, interestingly enough.
That's a pretty positive problem to have. Who's going to op on which map?
Yeah, really. Depth is not a bad thing.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something a little bit more aggressive in TSM this time, just to kind of lock down something pretty early on. We're seeing 3 men towards a B bomb site from them quite a lot, but it seems like they will be playing standard here. We can see Device once again going for the aggressive pick down middle. We saw Pasha do this with great success before. Nothing too crazy coming in. We see Pasha and Bialy getting that banana control once again. CT's allowing them to have it as well.
Attempting to take it away. Meanwhile, they're also putting pressure in on top of Boiler. That's not worked out. Kerrigan, Dupree, each finding a kill. And interestingly, Kerrigan was on the A site this time, so they went with Cajun B to join Zipex. Another change of play and change of pace from TSM. And again, this dynamic CT side, it's definitely something they're known for. It's working out, and they find yet another kill from Device. An excellent second half that he's had, catching up to Cajun B with 14 kills now. And it's just Pasha and Bialy, 3 straight rounds looking like, and I take that back, 4 straight rounds looking like they might go TSM's way. We're not done just yet. Pasha's got an argument for the case, but look where that bomb is. Yeah, and another smoke out on top of it. That just makes things worse.
They've got 2 incendiaries left as well. They can just lock this bomb out for a very long time. Pasha and Bialy were the banana players. Full HP still, but they can smoke on top of the bomb, so maybe they can steal it like that.
And attempted. Bialy's got it. Now Pasha's working with them. They're trying to get down the truck side, and they found Pit, so they've got a chance to plant. Bialy's going to go straight for it, and where's the retake going to come? Device is coming around from truck side. That confuses them enough to allow Zipex to close it because they both get exposed to him, and that is the 4th straight round now for TSM.
It's a pretty clever play trying to smoke off the bomb. I don't think TSM saw that coming, but planting in the open like that, I think they should have gone for possibly a safer plan. They didn't really cover their angles whatsoever. Getting taken down, the double team from Zipex and Device with the CZ in the side. They're doing so much damage. They got isolated onto the bomb side, but a good effort nonetheless from VP, but it's going to force him onto another quasi-buy here after losing, what was that, 5 in a row now? You can see Device getting some more confidence. It looks like a straight-up banana push from VP.
So now this setup of Cajun B and Zipex, which has gone back inside the bomb site and sticking with, by the way, Cajun B, not Kerrigan yet again, is forced to come under threat. We haven't really seen them get this far, this early in the round, have we, from VP? And Pasha's already found Xyp9x, but KGB, we saw him use this position last time to great success. He picks up only the one this time. Device is rotated quickly, but Taz finds him as well. And this looks good for Virtus.pro to respond. It's not quite a full lost round bonus, but it will reset what's already in play from the 4 rounds. Let's not speak too soon yet, because Dupree has found a re-entry. That doesn't necessarily mean they've taken it back, and Bialy's going to disallow it. Dupree, I think, will slowly fade away into the darkness.
Yeah, I think Xyp9x is right now the problem for them in B. He needs to get more than one, or not at all. He keeps not getting more than 1 kill around.
Well,
just too much weight for Cajun to carry.
Cajun's having to step up every single time. It doesn't seem like they're actually sharing the frags between each other. It's Cajun getting 1, Xyp9x not getting 1 at all, and that's a force buy as well. They have the majority of Tech9s and AK. They're quite an aggressive push into the site, but they should. The idea on the B side is you have a crossfire set up, so when one person's shooting, the other one's hiding, taking away the attention, for example, and then you kind of switch between those, and you're doing damage and getting kills together. It shouldn't be a case where only 1 kill's being made onto a banana push, especially when you're playing so passively as well. Let's see those entry kills going down. We saw Xyp9x standing in the open there as well. Didn't seem like he was expecting that all too much, and then Cajun is getting locked down in the back of the site. And although the money's not horrible for them, Carrigan will be on the FAMAS now. 3 players towards the B side, possibly trying to react to what's happened, and Device does open it up, takes down Bialy, and that's the kill they needed to secure this round for themselves. Now they seem to fall back and see what VP, how they react to this.
It's interesting that we've seen Cajun B every time. This is more classic by getting Device into that position, but I guess it's working out because Kerrigan is now finding double kills on A. And he's the one that swapped with Cajun B, who's found a double kill sense on B. But that's a change that they made during even the start of this game. One of those questions you'd love to ask: why? Was someone just uncomfortable? Was something not working out? Either way, VP are definitely behind in this round to now. Kerrigan's wounded inside the pit, but they've still got a decent crossfire set up. Did Pasha spot Dupree's head? Definitely Dupree will spot that Molotov. They've given Pasha room to move because they're hyper-focused on top of balcony because Snax has made his way down, and as mentioned, Kerrigan's low on HP, so they'll win over that duel. Still 2 men down despite the kill. And Pasha's going to continue to help this out. This is actually looking good now as Pasha, he'll cut off the rotation. Xyp9x down and out. Luckily, Dupree finds Snax, as if they pick up that kill as well, then the round is firmly in VP's hands. A 2 versus 5 that could have worked out. It's still not going to. Cajun B, final nail in the head of Pasha.
Carrigan being able to make that headshot to that guy with 5 health left, whatever, that turned out to be really crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. If you got 2 kills with the FAMAS there, and then it's hiding in the pit, managed to get a little headshot off as well. This is the FAMAS spray down here. So we saw Carrigan left on a very low HP, manages to dink the 3rd player as well. But Pasha looking unbelievably sharp here. This second shot onto Arch, it could have turned the round around. And there it is, and that's when it got a little bit dangerous. But Carrigan making that headshot was a huge factor there. But here we go then, going to round number 25. TSM in touching distance at match point.
KGB's boosted up. We saw Snax do this in the first half. See if it works off in a similar fashion. They brought Device over early from the A site. So again, this op will be on top of B, but it's not quite forward on Banana. He won't have that linear shot. Instead, he's got to play this from CT connector, and we know how commonly that gets smoked. As VP fan back out across the map and try and evaluate the situation. Dupree, Kerrigan, solo on A. That's not a solo, that's a duet. Either way.
Double solo.
1 man down, double solo. I like that. Thank you for saving me.
So it's a full execute now.
Skybox. Yeah, skybox bounce, cover off, orange is 1. Interestingly, though, they don't, and they do have 2 more Molotovs. Don't follow that up immediately.
It's a B split coming up.
Because it is, the 2 other Molotovs on the other side of the site, and they're coming through CT spawn. KGB shut it down, and Device is aware of it, but overwhelmed as he gets 1 from Speedway and 2 from spawn. It means TSM have to rotate quickly. Kerrigan's still not sure that Banana's open, so he's taking his time, but he needs to be quick. He needs to get on this because they're already coming through. Snax now burns Cajun B alive, and it's entirely turned around because Snax will use a smoke we often see the CTs use. Kerrigan doesn't give a shit. He's gone through it. He's found the kill, and Neo dropping down leaves just Taz. 1 versus 3, and bomb not planted. TSM on 14. This is looking very, very good now.
That was a kind of weird execution from VP there. They actually went onto the banana side before they had actually gained the presence in middle whatsoever, and then afterwards came in, and it kind of worked out for them. But
yeah, I guess the idea was to not have anyone on that connector on long A. I guess they wanted to have them
pull away the CTs as that's happening, and the guys go up. They did, well, it kind of got the entry kill as well, but that retake from TSM so strong once again. Never in a doubt in my mind when they got that first kill they were going to win that round. But now VP really are in a horrible situation. Tech9 round. And the aggression coming in from Dupree. He has actually taken down though.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay, interesting outcome there.
What are we watching?
Watching Snacks get the last kill, which does give VP the advantage. Device now inside the site. Gonna use this corner spot, takes down Bomb Carrier. Very lucky that bomb didn't get tossed in behind that box. Meanwhile, though, it is Pasha to try and come out and take down Xyp9x. Cajun B responding into him, and Pasha again has been so strong. Maybe he's given himself, or rather his teammates, another chance, but Bialy, this is desperate, and Device uses the shotgun against him.
Oh, nice little finish.
Or rather the knife. Excuse me, Device did get the knife in.
So that
I was going to say he didn't have a shotgun, but the little picture that showed up with the butterfly knife.
We saw the beginning of that round getting a little bit crazy. We saw Dupree pushing down middle there. Around when they knew the terrorists would be forced by as well. Obviously, we talk about trying to shut it down and show your dominancy on a map when you know the team of Rico, but that maybe had been a little bit too high risk there, especially with not having a teammate with you. But they do recover the round, 15-11 now. Another force buy from VP. They should be able to end this one right away. You can see TSM looking in a very strong position now, but not so much aggression shown this time. And VP will be making their over to B with the bomb. And they have got smokes and molotovs to execute once again. Will they just be going straight in with this?
Potential that they could have, but despite using one utility, a smoke nade on the CT connector, they've slowed down as a response of the one that TSM's thrown out. Meanwhile, Snacks using the Tech 9 will take down Device, and Snacks will further that push through CT spawn. Xyp9x needs to be aware of this. Instead, he gets inside the smoke. He's got cover, flashing himself through. The fire and the flames doing damage to him all the while, though he's down to 42 HP and really not even spotted up just yet. Taz is going to follow this up. They've got A now. They looked initially to get that wrap from Snacks. Instead, all he did was force TSM off the site. Dupree fighting his way back in, though, will find Neo. Bomb's going to go down. And Dupree follows in a similar fashion to the bomb and is also dead and gone. This may not just be done yet.
That was smart decision making from VP there. Snacks getting that first kill and making it seem like he was wrapping to B, and then the rest of the guys actually falling back and going A, getting that pick on short. Just a great read in the way they responded to everything happening there from VP.
Yep, so maybe it's not over just yet. There's still some life in VP, and saving 3 rifles. Bialy's the only guy not picking one of those up yet, but Xyp9x and Cajun just hiding towards the B side, and it's definitely not worth VP trying to hunt this down. They want to make sure they save those guns. One is very fragile state as it is, but 3 rounds to go. That was pretty convincing from them. Tech 9's getting up there. Someone had to make the YOLO play, get round to Arch, found the kill, and that was Snacks, but now Device picks up the AWP once again. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for the aggressive pick just to try and lock this down as quickly as possible. He's probably aware the AWP is not going to be viable for VP just yet.
Yeah, money's pretty much in shatters for TSM as well. So 2 guys with pistols only.
This could be the make or break moment this round.
Yeah, it really could give VP a chance late to get back into it. Device has the op toward mid. That smoke came out.
Ooh,
A slight chance, but there it is. Device gets obliterated as Snacks will knock that op to the ground. How do they compensate? Cajun B, Xyp9x again, still the players over on B. I'm still surprised to see this switch up because it's such a classic formation to have Kerrigan with Xyp9x, but it changes, and Dupree picks up the op that time. Well played by him to take down Neo. And he's also made his way into a safer spot in the arch. Not losing any HP on that initial shot. And has a great chance to follow it up, but they will smoke him off and now force themselves into Kerrigan. And like you guys mentioned, he's only got the pistol to work with. He's already spotted, has to drop inside the pit. Does Snacks manage to find him coming from above? Kerrigan manages to find at least one, but he's gone. Pit given up, and now VP have control of the A site. Bomb very likely to go down, and kills being followed up. Dupree bringing that up in front of Boiler. Wants to try and split this site, but Cajun B's decided otherwise, and they will fall back and have to save yet again. And you guys mentioned it. The economy is getting grim for TSM. VP now going to have 13 plus a free kick.
But that was interesting to just have one player play A at that point in time in the round. And Kerrigan as well with just a pistol. You would have imagined they'd have one guy who's really close so he can rotate to spawn to the site when things start to unfold. It
was such an all-in round anyway. Once they had the AWP, the 2 rifles and 2 pistols, Device knew he had to find a pick there. And the fact he got taken down by Snacks of an AK as well, they're probably like, okay, what the hell even happened that round? What? That's not the way the plan should have gone down. Dupree did pick it up, picked up 3 kills and kind of neutralized the situation. That will make money a little bit more tighter for VP, but they saved the AWP, the M4, but only 2 rounds away from overtime here. Need to be very careful with their next couple of plays. I think following this one, trying to get a few more kills is probably the wise option for them. Definitely no reason why they can't win the round if Device is able to find some form this time, but let's see how this one unpans, because Device definitely needs to step up if they're going to have any chance of closing this one right now.
If they can find the appropriate picks with these rifles early enough. Device and Banana to control it and get the stack on the A. This could still work out for TSM. Cajun's going to get there late. Xyp9x just gets around the corner before the rifles push on that smoke. Again, also a little bit late, which means Bialy's got him. But now it's down to Cajun B. He's done tons of damage. No kills yet. Needs to get back around the corner as he reloads, and they can't chase onto him. It allows Dupree to walk out and be the hero. Dupree with 3.
The triple spray down.
All because they, yeah, there you go. All because they chase in on top of Cajun B. That was insane.
What a way to finish it. I thought that was going to overtime. I really did believe that. I want to see what happened there.
It was in the books, right?
I mean, I have to say before, okay, we're not going to get to see, unfortunately, replay that round, but that was pretty impressive stuff from both Cajun B to not only get massive damage and stay alive, but for Dupree to pop out at the right time. But up until those last couple rounds, I was going to say that looked more like the TSM we've known to be successful. It hasn't looked like the struggles they've had. That was more coordinated, more traditional. Again, the only swap that I really saw from the gameplay was just that they brought Cajun B over to B and Kerrigan over to A, but it worked out for them. So,
yeah, impressive stuff. And then, like, there's just those last couple of rounds with VP4 Sports and got the Tech 9 round. That's when they started saying, okay, this could be a little bit hit or miss now. And then that last round, I thought that was the one that was going to push it all the way to overtime. We thought they only had an AWP, an M4, but somehow Dupree out of nowhere. I hope we get to see that because I'm sure it was fantastic. He had a great game that entire map. So, interesting stuff from him. Let's have a look where the scoreboard lies, though, because I talked about Xyp9x being very quiet yesterday, and it looks like, again, he's going to be the one, we're talking about in the B bomb side especially, not really making any frags, especially no first kills for him. That suggests when you're on the CT holding a crucial area like B, you want to be making some first kills at some point, but not one for him. And we can have a look. Dupree, like I said, huge game from him, 28 frags. That's why he's on my team. And actually, he wasn't, was he? I don't think I picked him tonight.
No.
I actually left him out. I left him out the day before.
I actually think with
don't even have him tonight, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of good fragging there going on, but Pasha and Dupree stepping up massively again. Pasha continuing on with this rifle play that he's been actually becoming very good at, or not necessarily becoming very good at, but rediscovering himself in potentially. Heat maps are a little bit different. Look at the difference at the B site.
Yeah, I mean, I looked it up before the major, actually, that the way VP really plays is they end their rounds in Inferno to be like maybe 70% of the time. They really want to just push B a lot of the time. They either split it or they just straight off hit it. So
anyone who's not sure these heat maps mean, that's both terrorist side teams. So
that's right.
Blue and red, maybe a little bit confusing there, but it's both T sides to see where they end up executing.
The other interesting thing is that TSM had a lot of pressure put on the A site, which isn't necessarily typical when they play Fnatic or when they have played Fnatic, because Fnatic plays more passively inside Banana. We see a lot more B hits, but I think it just ultimately had to do with the fact that VP were controlling Banana so well. The TSM were ultimately forced toward that A, and yet still picked up 8 rounds without the pistol. There's Dupree. We will get to look at his last round in just a second, so we'll see how he closed that out, but he was the MVP, and fitting that he's MVP because came up huge right here.
Here we go then. Let's just enjoy it.
So that's 1, but here comes the remaining 3.
here comes the party.
That's an insane finish.
That is the triple spray down.
Yeah, that was an
Decent
insane
round from him.
Yeah, and timing was everything, because it was just as they were looking toward Cajun B in that library to solve that problem.
That's the thing. We were seeing it from Cajun B's perspective. So he did so much work there, so much damage, that they all were looking towards that library area. Dupree with the CZ kill and quad, picks up the AK, instantly turns around, gets that info from his teammate, crouch spray, perfect line, headshots made, and just finished the round out within 5 seconds. So amazing finish to the game, and what a way to do it with style.
I'm sure VP did not like that whatsoever. However, we do move on. It's a best of 5. Long way to go. We'll be back with map 2 in just a second.
Some heavy mid presence there. Pasha does lock down the device, and it should be a pretty clean round for them.
So far, so good. Taz again going to follow up. Dropping down a second player. Bialy using a pistol, just enough to take down Dupree.
They had to run through smoke there. And look at the advantage Snaps had going into that round. Had great smoke. Unfortunately as well, Pasha getting isolated in that area without any real backup there. He was on, even when the rest of the guys only had about $2,000 each. So I assume they'll...
The boost from Snacks as well. It's going to turn out to be very effective. 2 more kills.
Just allowing his, you can see, just waiting for his moment to strike. There it is. Takes down 2 nice people.
Doing more damage, but Dupree, that second shot was beautiful. Yes.
Side, as I said, pretty simple procedure really. What more can you say? He walked up and owned both of them. If you want to upgrade that Max 10, he has actually done that now. And actually kind of crazy. So Cajun did really well here. He's isolated onto the side. Picking up 2 frags is actually pretty impressive in that situation. Xyp9x got taken down pretty easily, but Felix entry was going down, so Diplex standing in the open there as well. Didn't seem like he was expecting that all too much. I think KGB was getting locked down in the back of the site. And well, this is the famous spray down here. So we saw Carrigan left on a very low HP, managing to dink the third player as well. But Pasha looking unbelievably sharp here. His second shot on Raj, it could have turned the round around. And there it is. And that's